So how many women do you know who have recently purchased a firearm? We're going to talk about it with Joe next.
But first, PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/alpine. Are you in the military? Are you looking for help with a VA loan? Well, if you're looking to buy, refi, or maybe even considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley, 619-722-1303, or just go to primeres.com/alpine. What do you got for us today, Joe?
Well, so I was looking for some good news. It's it's depressing. Try to write things, and like everything is just depressing. There's a lot of bad news out there. And I was noticing, I saw a couple of articles floating around about the gun sales, because gun sales are still breaking records pretty much monthly, have been found for a couple of years, and it's not slowing down that much. And so I thought, okay, that's a good happy one. So we'll write about that. And, getting into it a little bit more, talking about, who's buying guns and things like that. And then as I dug deeper into it, I started looking at I started finding stuff about the reasoning and things like that. And it turned into a more involved thing than I thought it was going to be. So it was taking a little while.
Are you saying it took the fun out of it?
No. It turned into I thought I was going to knock this out in an hour and be done with it today. And I didn't. But I got it outlined anyway. But it's interesting. They say like in the first half of 2021, 3.2 million guns were purchased by first-time gun owners. And what's interesting, if you look at the demographics of it, it said nearly half of those people were under the age of 40, which is interesting. A lot of the people, women, represent a big chunk of new gun owners nowadays. And it's interesting, years ago, 20, 30 years ago, they said women represented 10 to 20% of gun owners. And today they represent almost half of gun owners, about 42% is what they're saying. And that's likely to be a little bit low, too. It's hard to get good statistics on gun ownership for obvious reasons. People don't like to talk about gun ownership. They're smart.
Yeah, but don't they have hardcore numbers from every time you buy a gun?
Not necessarily, no. Remember, in California, it's weird.
Oh,
right?
that's
in
right.
California, they got everything. In free America, not so much.
Gotcha.
So it's hard. They rely on polls and surveys and things like that. And sometimes gun owners are reluctant to tell someone, what they own or that kind of thing. But, it's pretty likely that that number is at least the 42% anyway. So that's good. It's good to see that. And, they said 21 million federal background checks in 2020.
Wow.
So, and that's not 21 million new gun owners. It's 21 million purchases basically. Mm-hmm. So they say, I think close to 3/4 of those are people just buying additional guns. But still, it's good because the people that are buying guns, it's not the stereotypical, white men that they always like to throw around out there. And like for the new gun owners, for instance, for the data on that from last year, they say about 55% were white, but about 21% were black, about 19% Hispanic. And they didn't quote the Asian one. I didn't see a number for the Asian purchases, but again, it's not just old white men that buy guns, but it's interesting because looking at the why, why do people do that? And that was the part that got a little bit deeper. And it's driven, unfortunately, the politics of fear, which are real popular nowadays in this country. And, people are purchasing guns, which, to me is kind of the wrong reason. And that it plays in that stereotype. That's why I wanted to spend a little more time developing this a bit. But it's, there's so much more to the guns than just the defense part of it. And that's what's frustrating, I think, about, the anti-gun people, these fanatics that are out there. Because, they focus on, for one, how criminals use guns, but they imply that it's normal people using guns that way. Mm-hmm. But, there's so much more to it. Yes, the self-defense part's, important. But, I mean, just the collecting part, when I'm at the range doing these RSO shifts and things, I'll talk to people and we all laugh about it because, the range costs you money because I can't. What do I have? Like 3 guns now, I think, that I bought because I was at the range and somebody had one. I said, "Oh, that's cool. I got to have that." And everybody was saying that, but there's that aspect of it. There was a guy that was shooting on Friday that collects old World War I and World War II type guns. They were talking about old Enfield rifles and things like that. And this guy, he shoots at the matches too. You probably saw him yesterday. He's got a lot of old equipment stuff, not only guns, but all the stuff that the soldiers had back in World War I and World War II. You'll see him with, he had an old canteen, I think, from World War I that he was using and stuff like that. But there's so much more to it. We were talking about reloading and all that. So, I think it's great that people are buying guns now. More and more Americans are buying guns. It's a little bit saddening, I think, or it's a little bit sad because of the reasoning. I'd like to see people buying guns because they're good things. They're cool things. They're a lot of them are pieces of art, especially if you look at the older revolvers and things like that. There's that aspect to it, the collecting aspect to it, and just the fun of shooting and things. But when I was looking at, what's driving the surge now, it's what you would think it is. It's fear. People are afraid of what's going on out there. But it's interesting. It's not one side or the other. We were talking about politics before and the political part of this. But, and I was looking through several different articles. And, they were talking about, like, they talked to liberal people or people on the left. And, they quoted this one woman who was throughout that old Trump thing. Trump could shoot somebody in the street in New York and his followers wouldn't care. And, there was another woman that said, she went into the gun shop and she was in tears. She's telling the guy in the gun shop that this is against everything I believe in, but my family needs to be protected, and that kind of goofiness with a fear. But it's not only on that side, on the more normal American side. We were watching the cities burn last year, the mostly peaceful protesting and rioting and looting and arson. And the response or the lack of response from law enforcement, not because they didn't want to probably, but because they were being held back a lot of the time. And, that kind of stuff's not going away. All the things that are happening at the federal level nowadays is just keeping people afraid of things like that. And, that's what's driving a lot of this. But, it's not slowing down. It's very, it's interesting. We were talking about the getting the message out, and we were kind of critical a little bit about the Republican or the conservative side articulating the message, but we see that too in the gun owner side. You've got this boom, these new gun owners, and we should be reaching out to them. We should be articulating this kind of stuff and communicating it so that we turn them into really responsible gun owners that are enthusiastic and supportive of our Second Amendment and that kind of stuff. And I feel like sometimes we miss the opportunity. They quoted they use an example of a guy teaching an NRA class, I think, for women, which is similar to what we do out here. The Wall Street Journal article talked to Wendy about the Not Me SD program, and they also had a girl and a gun, and people from there talking about it. So, reaching out to these people that are purchasing these guns and drawing them in to what it's really about. Yes, the self-defense part is important and everything, but there's so much more to it. And so I'd like to see us take advantage of that anyway and not miss that opportunity.
So when would this article be up on the website?
Things go well tonight or tomorrow night.
All right, keep your eyes crossed. Go to sdorc.org
or something like that.
What is he trying to say?
What did I say?
SDCGO.org/blog.
SDO. Oh, you know what? I did my first show. They're SDORC.
Go to sdgne.com.
sdgne.com.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.